Hey guys, so for today's video I created this bridal bridesmaid makeup look. In 3 weeks I'm going to be in my friend Abby's wedding as a bridesmaid, so I wanted to do a little makeup trial today and use the products that I think I would use on the actual wedding day. So this is the makeup look that I came up with and I absolutely love it. I feel so pretty right now, so I wanted to create a makeup look that would be timeless, that would look good in photos, that would photograph well and would wear well throughout the day, and also a look that I just feel confident in wearing for a really long day, and I'm gonna be in a lot of pictures. So I did do my full face on camera today, and I did go into depth on why I use specific products and why I did specific steps. So whether you're a bride, a bridesmaid, a wedding guest, or just want a pretty neutral glam look like this, I hope this video is helpful for you. But before we get started with this makeup look, this video is kindly sponsored by Bright Cellars. So this is actually my second time working with Bright Cellars, and I'm so excited about that because after my first sponsorship with them, I ended up becoming a customer and a subscriber of theirs and signing up for the service because I love what they offer. So when they asked me to do another sponsorship, I was like, yes, let's do it. I love wine. I love your service. Let me tell you about it. So Bright Cellars is a monthly wine club that will match you to wines that you love. When you first sign up, you take a little palate quiz that asks you questions about what kind of food do you like, what kind of drinks do you like, and it comes up with wines that they think you're gonna like based off of that quiz. And then once you get your first box, you try your wines, you see if you like them or not, and you actually rate them on their website. So then each box you received after that will be more and more curated to your taste because you're telling them what kind of wines you like and don't like. And what I also love about Bright Cellars is that you're always gonna get something different and something you haven't tried before because they match you with wines from small vineyards from all around the world. So I got 6 bottles of wine here. Let's pop one open and try it together. This one is speaking to me the most. It's called Vanishing Act and it's a Cabernet, I suck at saying this, Cabernet Sauvignon 2018. And what I love about this is the label because it looks like an eyeball, and I'm just a sucker for anything eyeballs, you know? So here is the matching education card. You can see it matches the label. So it says this medium-bodied and fruit-forward, this Cabernet Sauvignon from Washington State shows flavors of wild brambleberries with a touch of aromatic baking spice, round texture. So it says mulberry, black currant, clove, and baking spices. This does not sound like something I would normally pick, but I love the mulberry in it. I love berries, obviously, so let's try it. This one's a twist off, easy peasy. Pour a little bit here. Ooh. I'm interested to see what the baking spices are gonna taste like, because that sounds weird to me in a wine, right? All right, cheers. Oh, I like that. I don't taste the baking spices at all. Oh, I like this. I think medium-bodied and fruit-forward is what I like in a wine. I also love that this wine is from Washington because I'm from Oregon. I live in Oregon. This one is good. I would give it like 4 out of 5 stars, I think, when I go to rate it later. So Bright Cellars is offering you guys 50% off your first 6-box bottle, making it only $55, and that includes shipping. So that's less than 10 bucks for a bottle of wine, which is a pretty good deal. So if you want to check that out, I will leave a link down below for you. So thank you to Bright Cellars for sponsoring this part of the video. Now let's get into this bridesmaid makeup tutorial. So I went through all of my eyeshadow palettes and I was trying to decide which one do I think would be the best for wedding makeup, whether you're a bride, a bridesmaid, a palette that would have all the neutrals and maybe a little pop of color if you want. And believe it or not, I decided on the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill palette. I know it has been so long since I've used this palette, but I pulled it out and I was like, I truly think this is the best palette for a bridesmaid's look. So this is my old palette that I had, I mean, the first time it ever launched. Like, look how gross and just grummy and disgusting this is. And then I have this one that is newer, but I've still had it for a few years, so, wait, sorry. And I'm pretty sure the palette was reformulated, so I'm not exactly sure if the one I'm gonna use today is the reformulated version, but nonetheless, I think the shades are perfect for what I wanna do today. I just really think that this palette has all the neutrals that I need for this look. So off camera, I already primed my eyes with the Rare Beauty eyeshadow primer, and I set that with the RCMA No Color Powder. I do this for every single time I do my makeup, no matter what, especially for a wedding. I did also already fill in my brows with the Patrick Ta brow pencil. So I'm gonna start with the Sigma E35 in the shade Silk Cream. And this shade's gonna go all throughout my crease, all the way from inner corner to outer corner. This is just acting as like a really nice base transition shade that's gonna help everything blend smoothly on top of it. And I am dipping back into the palette a few times to build up this color. It is a really soft color, but I still want you to be able to see it. Now I'm going to take the shade Pooter on the same brush, and I'm going to apply this shade the same exact way. This is just going to start to deepen up the crease and add a little more definition. Now I'm going to switch to a Sigma E27 and a skin tone colored eyeshadow. This can also be like a skin tone colored foundation shade, just anything lighter than that first transition shade we laid down. And I'm just blending right below the eyebrow to make sure it's a really smooth transition here. So my bridesmaid's dress is like a really pretty kind of maroon Cabernet color. So I am going to dip into some warm tones also because this is a fall wedding. I feel like that's kind of appropriate. I also do have blue eyes, so I love warm tones on myself, but I'm not going to go too orangey, just a pop of warmth. So I'm going to pick up Buns on that Sigma E27, and I'm going to start to build that up on the outer third of my eye, starting on the outer lid, and I will bring it into my crease right up here. And then I'm going to go back to my E35 and just blend over everything. And then I am going to go back in and build up that bun shade even more. Now I'm going to take a little bit of Roxanne on my E35, and I'm just going to sweep that through my crease, starting in the outer part out here, and then lightly bringing it towards the inner crease. Now for the lid shade, I'm going to take Obsessed on my E54. I'm going to start that on the inner part of my lid. And then I am going to bring it up a little bit higher. Now I'm going to take the shade SBN, which is right next to Obsessed, and this is going to go right next to Obsessed, kind of on the center of my lid. Now, whether you're a bride, a bridesmaid, a wedding guest, I truly feel like you should wear the makeup that you feel most comfortable in, and I feel really confident in a wing, so I'm going to do not a small wing, not a large one, kind of like right in the middle, and I'm going to use the KVD tattoo liner. So my biggest tip with winged liner is not to try to make both eyes even, because your eyes most likely aren't perfectly symmetrical, so if you try to make your wings perfectly symmetrical, it's gonna look off because your face isn't perfect, right? So when I do my wings, I'm not really comparing both sides, I'm just trying to do what would look best on that eye. Does that make sense? So I always start from the outer corner and draw a line towards the tail of my brow, and I try to keep my eye completely relaxed. And then I like to go slightly below that line and draw a little triangle towards the center of my eye. And then I fill that in. So in my opinion, that is the hardest part of the eyeliner. Now I just draw a line from my inner corner to that outer corner and make it nice and smooth. Alright, that's what the eye looks like with the liner complete. I did make the liner a little bit thick because I am going to wear a fake lash today. And now I just repeat on the other eye, but again, I'm not really trying to compare both sides. The only time I really compare is just like the length of the wing, because you don't want one to be like so much longer than the other. Okay, my liner was kind of dying out, so I switched to the Haus Labs one. So those wings aren't perfectly even, but honestly, I'm totally fine with that. Let's move on to some face makeup and we can do some touch-ups later. So for my base makeup, I want to have really good coverage skin, not too cakey, but I'm also not gonna use cream products today, just because I feel like cream products don't really last well throughout the day, especially for a wedding where like you're sweating, you're dancing, it's a long ass day. Like cream products are probably just gonna melt off your face, so you want some good coverage on your face, and you also want to use products that are going to photograph well. So lots of things you got to keep in mind. I'm going to start with hydrating my skin, just because my skin has been feeling pretty dry recently. I recently got the Keys Let Me Glow Illuminating Serum in PR. I don't know how they have my address, but I actually been really liking this underneath foundations. It looks like this, and it gives like a tiny bit of a glow. That's not really what I want right now, but it makes my skin feel so smooth, and foundation applies beautifully on top of it. And then for my foundation, I'm using one of my all-time favorite foundations. I love the coverage. It looks beautiful on my skin. It has hydrating ingredients, and that is the Too Faced Born This Way foundation, the regular one, not the matte one. So I'm gonna start by dotting this on my skin, and I'm blending it in with the sponge. I have used this foundation on and off for years, and I just always go back to it. I love how it looks on my skin. It's also my mom's favorite foundation. Fun fact. That was just one light layer of the foundation, and it covered so much, and it doesn't look cakey at all. Love this foundation. So I'm gonna add a little bit more in a couple spots where I need more coverage. I am breaking out a little bit right now. And now if there's any more spots that just need even more coverage, I'm taking the NARS Soft Matte Concealer and just blending that in. All right, my skin is looking really good. I'm gonna quickly spray my face with the Rare Beauty Always an Optimist spray, just to give my skin even more moisture. And now let's do under eye concealer. So I actually think I'm gonna mix two today, just because this one's a little too light, because I am pretty tan right now. I'm gonna be a little less tan for the wedding day, so we'll see what happens. But I'm gonna take a little bit of this Dior one and go right on the darkest spots of my under eye. And then taking my favorite Anastasia Magic Touch, just adding a little bit there. I should probably just get a slightly darker color of this. I probably will. Now I'm just gonna start to tap that in with my finger to really like distribute this pigment before I go in with my sponge. So you can see I'm not blending it in all the way just yet. Now I'm gonna take my sponge and finish blending that in. And you can see I left that line of eyeshadow right there. All right, now I'm gonna go back to my RCMA No Color Powder, and I'm going to dip my sponge in that, and I'm gonna press that under my eyes. Now I am gonna set the rest of my face because, again, I want this makeup to last. So my favorite powder for that is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish. I use the shade 2, I just have a little mini one. And I'm using the Sigma F24 all over powder brush. And I'm just setting that pretty much everywhere, but I don't need to set my under eyes because I just already did that. All right, my whole face is set. I'm looking a little ghostly. I need to add some blush and bronzer and highlighter. Let's do that. I'm gonna take my favorite bronzer. That is the Hourglass Ambient Nude Bronze Light. And I'm using a Sigma F12 for this. And I'm just gonna start to bronze pretty much everywhere. So along my hairline. Also, this is not how my hair will look for the wedding, BTW. I'm gonna do like my little curled back look. not this slicked back look. And I like this bronzer because it's not completely matte. It has a little bit of a sheen to it, so it looks really pretty on the skin. Alright, the color is slowly coming back into my face. Now for blush, I also want to pick some blushes that had a little bit of a sheen to it. So again, I'm going with Hourglass. They just make really good face products. So this is their holiday blush palette, I think from last year. I still have it, I still use it. I love this one. So I'm gonna use that same brush I was just using and kind of mix like these two shades together. But the nice thing is that they're not too pigmented, so it's really easy to build up and not overdo it. So I'm just going to start with that, and then I will slowly start to add more. And products like this with that slight sheen in it do photograph beautifully. Alright, now I want to add a little bit of highlight to my cheekbone, so I'm going to take my favorite highlighter, which is Sigma Sizzle. And I'm using a fan brush because, again, I don't want to overdo it, and I just want to lightly lay down this highlight. And also a little bit under my brow, kind of right here. It's easy to hit that with this fan brush. And then I will do a little bit on the tip of my nose and on the bridge. And then I just like to take kind of a matte brown contour shade, and I like to contour right here around my nose. All right, back into the palette, I'm gonna take Pooter on a Sigma E30, and I'm gonna blend that along my entire lower lash line. And then I'm going to take Silk Cream on that E27 and just blend that along the entire lower lash line. So you could totally keep the lower lash line pretty soft like that, but I want to define it a little bit more. So I'm going to take the shade Chip on a Sigma E15, and I'm going to run that along the base of my lower lashes. So I am keeping the shade pretty close to the eye. I'm not blending it out like I did with those other two shades. And again, this kind of depends on how comfortable you are. Like, do you like to wear a lot of makeup? And I personally do, and I feel confident when my eyes look like this with a decent amount of eyeshadow. So a lot of this is personal preference and like, what do you want to look like in the photos, you know? Now I'm going to take a Sigma LO4 in the shade Beam, and I'm going to pop that in my inner corner. Now before I add mascara and lashes, I just like to take a step back and just kind of look at my eyes, see if I want to add anything else, maybe blend a little bit. I do know that my eyeliner did smudge a little bit right here, but I'm honestly not going to fix that because me trying to fix that might even make it worse, you know what I mean? So I think that's fine. I think for me, I want to deepen up this outer part just a little bit more. So I'm going to pick up a tiny bit of that Chip shade on my E27 and just lightly pat some in right here. All right, I feel good about the eyes. I'm gonna go pop on some mascara and lashes, and then we'll finish the whole face. All right, I popped on my lashes. Now I'm gonna show you my little lash hack trick for the day. But for my lashes, I'm wearing my Brand the Bright lashes in All Natural. For me personally, these are like the perfect wedding lash because they're still slightly natural, but for me this is like my kind of natural. Like, it just looks nice and full, glamorous, but not too over the top. So all I did was just pop on the lash with some lash glue. Now I'm going to take my Bright Lashes applicator tool, I like to call it the squeezy tool, and I'm going to squeeze the base of the lashes with my natural lashes. And this really helps blend them together, especially that little inner corner area. My eyes watering. This doesn't always happen. Also, if my eyes ever start watering, I just take a Q-tip and I like collect the tear. All right, so I'm squeezing the band, and this doesn't hurt because I'm not squeezing my skin, you're squeezing your lashes. And you really want to make sure that inner corner area is nice and secured. Now for my other lash hack that's going to make your lashes look perfect is take a little small angled brush. This is a Sigma E65, and take a black eyeshadow And you're just gonna press that on top of the lash band, on top of your eyeliner. And this just kind of like smooths everything over. If you have any glue kind of still showing, this matte black eyeshadow will just kind of like just cover it. Also, if you have any old like eyeshadow on your lash band, this will help cover that as well. I will be using a fresh pair of lashes for the wedding day. And I'm just doing this on the eyeliner that's on my eye, not the actual wing part. All right, and here is the final close-up of the eyes with the eyeshadow, the wing, the lashes. All right, now let's pop on a lip. I'm gonna start with my favorite lip liner ever. That is Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk. Nope, not Pillow Talk. Iconic Nude. I lied. I'm gonna line my lips. All right, so that is the lip liner. Now for the actual like lipstick, I don't want to do a liquid lipstick because personally I just hate them, and I want to wear a product that's going to wear off nicely. So I still want to pick a color that's kind of close to my natural lip color, but as it wears off, it'll be like easy to reapply throughout the day. Again, will look good in photos. So I think for that, I'm going to take my MAC lipstick in Cherish. I'm not sure if you can still get this one, but I love this lipstick. I like to use my finger, blend it in. Now I'm going to take one of my favorite lip glosses ever. It is Fenty Beauty Fussy. And this lip gloss is going to be so easy to apply through the rest of the day. Gives a little bit of color. Looks nice and juicy. All right, now as a final step, I'm just going to brush through my eyebrows because sometimes I get eyeshadow in my eyebrows and I don't want that. So I'm going to brush through them. So I'm going to take a tinted brow gel. This one's from Kosas. And I'm just going to comb that through my brows. Where's my all-nighter? Now the last step is to shower yourself in the Urban Decay all-nighter setting spray. This has been a favorite for years. It truly does work. It truly does work. I have cried, but I've had this on my face and it kept my makeup in place, and I'm a big baby. Like, I cry at weddings, so I need this stuff. All right, and that is going to wrap up this makeup. So this is the makeup look that I am planning to wear when I'm a bridesmaid at my friend's wedding in about 3 weeks from now. I love how this looks. I feel so pretty, so confident in this makeup. This is something I love to wear. I absolutely love how my skin looks. It looks so fresh, but it's full coverage, but it's still a little bit glowy, not cakey. Like, truly, this foundation is everything. And then for the eyes, I'm wearing a makeup look that I love on myself. I love a wing like this, a defined lower lash line, a little bit of a lighter color in the inner corner of the lid, warm neutral brown throughout the crease. I feel so pretty right now. So I hope this video was helpful for you, whether you're a bride, a bridesmaid, a wedding guest, or just wanted a really pretty full glam look. Like, wear this wherever you want. But I love this. I'm gonna feel so confident in this makeup, and it's gonna photograph beautifully. Thank you again to Bright Cellars for sponsoring this video. Again, if you wanna check them out and get 50% off your first 6-box bottle, I will leave a link down below for you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.